Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining from today. My name's Lexi. I am the head of customer experience here at Programa, and I'm joined with Claire, one of our Programa account managers, who will be helping out in the live chat. So this webinar is our first look at our Programa to SketchUp extension, and I am so excited to show this to you guys. It's going to up-level the way your workflows are working from Programa into your 3D models. So let's jump right in. I'm just going to quickly share my screen with you. Okie doke. So first things first, we're going to do just getting started. So I'm going to show you exactly how to download the Programa extension. If you're not familiar with what a SketchUp extension actually is, it's essentially the same concept of what our Programa web clipper extension is. It's just inside SketchUp instead. So I'll walk you through how to actually download that, where you can find it in the SketchUp warehouse. Then I'm going to walk you through how to set up your product library if that's something that you don't use very often, because in this first version of the extension, it connects directly to your Programa product library. At the very end of our session, I'm going to show you a sneak peek of the next version of the extension, which is currently built. We're just kind of in the testing phases, so you'll get that really soon. But that extension will connect directly to your Programa schedules, which is just another game changer. Just wait till I actually show you. Hopefully it will blow your mind. Okie doke. So getting started. First things first, where you can find the SketchUp extension is in the extension warehouse, as I mentioned. So simply, it actually lives right on the main page of the SketchUp extension warehouse, and all you need to do is hit this download button. If for whatever reason it's not there, you can just do a quick search. So I can search Programa, and there she is. So I would download it. And you can download it to your computer or directly into your SketchUp. So from within SketchUp here, at the very top, you can see there's the extensions tab. So you can either go to extension warehouse, where we just were. So I was on the web page, but the same thing works from right within SketchUp. And then once it's actually downloaded into your SketchUp, you can find it in your extension manager. If you have already previously downloaded an older version of this extension, what I would recommend is re-downloading the new version. So it's the 2.8. We've just made it a couple tweaks in the last couple days to improve the extension even more. So if you can't just install and update the one that's already in your extension manager, just delete it and re-download it. Cool. So once you find it in your extension manager, it'll show up again under extensions and it'll say Programa. So all I'm going to do is open the panel, and this is the login page that you'll receive. So we'll log in together. So I'm just going to hit sign in with Programa, and you have to authorize it to connect directly to your Programa account, which takes me here, and then I can go back into SketchUp, and voila, I'm all logged in. So I do want to show you, it will ask you at the beginning what project you want to connect to in Programa. I know that can feel a little bit confusing because right now it only connects to your product library. The reason being is that we are just future building for the next version of it. So as I said, in the next version, you'll be able to connect to a specific project and a specific schedule. So for now, it will ask you for a project, but really it's taking you right into your product library. Okay. Now, before I walk you through the actual workflows of the different ways that we can use the extension from Programa into SketchUp, I'm just going to walk you through all of the buttons on the extension itself, because it's quite powerful, and I just want to make sure that everybody's across all of the gadgets on here. So as you can see, I'm logged into my account. I can see the project that I'm connected to. If you have this green flashing dot, that means you're connected to your project. You're good to go. At the very top here, I have the search function and I have a filter function. So if you're familiar with the program or product library, it's the same data that it's pulling through. So I could search up stone. If you've neatly organized your product library and you like to organize by category, you can search your categories that way. I can just scroll right through and find the products that I'm looking for. Now, on the product itself, you'll notice there's 3 dots here. So this is taking you into the product details directly from Programa. So these are all of the images that I've specified in my product library. You can actually edit the data on the product itself, and that will sync back into Programa as well. So that's all linked up. As well, if you want, you can search the 3D warehouse. So that's searching for this bar stool, for example, directly in the 3D warehouse. Now I'll demo this a little bit more moving forward because I'm going to show you a couple of examples of how powerful that actually is. But you can search up the product itself, or if you have, if I go back to say paint sample, I can hit the 3 dots and do add to materials panel. So my favorite thing about this is that you can take stone samples, you can take tile samples, etc. You no longer have to pull them into your bucket, into your materials panel within SketchUp. They're all directly linked again from that product library. So that is just in that 3 dots, add to materials panel, and then follow through with the steps in that way. The last button here is find in model. So I just clicked that. Obviously I don't have this finish in the model, so which is why that came back. But essentially, I like to think in the situation where you have a really massive house. For example, obviously my product here is just a kitchen, so there isn't much double up on items. But if I wanted to find a light that I've specified multiple times and I'm trying to search for it in my model, that's what that tool is for. So it'll bring you directly right to that product in the model. If you ever get stuck and you need help, literally hit the help guide button in the top right-hand corner. That'll take you right to the program extension help guide, which will walk you through all of those steps that I just went through with you. Okay, so now that we've kind of done the basics of getting started and downloading everything, I'm going to walk you through the product library setup. So if you're not familiar, within Programa, I would 100% get in the habit of categorizing everything in here. If you do currently use your product library, we've actually updated this recently where it makes it easier to get products into your library, either directly from adding from the URL the same way you do in your Programa schedules, or you can bulk import products directly into the product library. Previously, you could only bulk import directly into a schedule. So now we've added that component into the product library. So if you have a bunch of materials or a bunch of furniture pieces, fittings, etc., you can bulk import those right in via an Excel. So I'm going to use my kitchen model as an example. So first things first, I'm going to add in a sink. So I'm going to go through a couple of different web pages and show you how to fill out the product library. Let me use my correct clipper here. Voila. Okay. So if you haven't noticed before on your web clipper, it does autofill to clip to schedule, but on this drop-down menu, you also can do clip to product library. So in this case, that's what I want to do. I'm going to do add to product library, and you can still use the AI smart fill component to pull in those product details. So the images, measurements, pricing, etc. Everything that you need for the spec data will be pulled in directly for you. Now, just a great kind of hygiene tip, you could say, to get in the habit of. Some of the really big suppliers, maybe not even big suppliers, but I would double check. Some of them actually offer SketchUp files, which in this case on Kohler, all of the Kohler products do. If you hit this SketchUp and you download the file, I'm going to show you a trick. So once that's downloaded, I'm going to hit this clip button, and that's going to save it to my product library. Now I'm going to add a couple more products in here. So I'm going to do product from URL, and I want this cabinet pull. So in this case, I'm just going to copy the link, paste that in. And lastly, I'm going to do this stone material. Again, I'm going to do add product from URL, copy paste, hit add. Okay, so there's my sink, my handles, and my stone. Now, if I click into this stone here, sorry, not stone, oh my gosh, sink, scroll down, this is the details tray of that specific product. So I'm going to scroll down. There's a space for product attachments. So what I'm going to do is hit upload, and I'm going to attach, just want to make sure it's the right one, this guy, SketchUp model. That's saved. And you'll notice here, now I have the 3D SketchUp icon connected to my product in the product library. So that's where the magic comes in. So now when I'm ready to start modeling and I pull and I'm linked up to my product library, that SketchUp model is already directly connected. So that's just a fun tip there. Now, the last way to get products into the library, say you've already finished a project, you have a bunch of items in your schedule, you don't necessarily want to rebuild your product library from scratch, I'm going to go into my schedule, and you can actually bulk import products directly from your schedules. So all I did is I'm using the check mark box on the left-hand side here where it says kitchen. Then I'm going to use the action button. So actioning a specific group of products, and then it gives you the option to add to product library. So I'm going to do that. So now I have a bunch of items, and I'm ready to start modeling. Okay, now, so what I'm going to do here, I'm back in SketchUp, and I'm going to hit this product library button, which just refreshed my library for me. So you'll notice that now I have the sink, the cabinet pulls, the material, and my bar stool here. So first I'm going to show you in this sink example, see how it still has the 3D icon connected? That's the SketchUp model that I had attached to that sink. I can just hit the download option and bring it directly into my model. Now, if I want to get really fancy, I mean, I'm not going to show you guys exactly me trying to muck around with this, but it is super easy. Oopsie. To bring in the models, and then I'm going to pop it right into my countertop there. So because in theory, if I was designing, would have already set up my model to have the dimensions in place of the Kohler sink, which is why it made it really easy to just pop it right in because I had already put in that rectangle. And then you can obviously still edit the components and change the finishes and things on the sink if you wish. But again, I didn't even have to search the 3D warehouse for that sink because it was already in my Programa library and I already connected the 3D model to it. So win, win, win. Next would be searching the 3D warehouse for products. So what I want to do is find this cabinet handle. So I'm going to hit the 3 dots. And I'm sure you're familiar, if you are a SketchUp user, you know that there's thousands and thousands and thousands of products in the 3D warehouse, which has its pros and cons, right? Because there's so many options to choose from, but sometimes we just want to find one that looks almost identical to the product that we're trying to find. So in this case, it's just going to save you time because when you hit search 3D warehouse, it's going to, one, see if that exact match exists, or it's going to find me something that looks almost identical, which these first 3 options do. So I'm not having, again, scrolling. I have to put in keywords to try and find the right item. Programa did that heavy lifting for me. So in that case, again, I'll just hit the download. Boom, got my handles. So we're moving. The other cool thing about this too is, again, if you're familiar with SketchUp, which I'm assuming if you're on this call today, you are, you typically have to open up your 3D warehouse in another pop-up window. But in this case, you don't have to anymore. So you just have the Programa extension open, and you can also search the 3D warehouse from within our extension. So you just have the one box open while I'm designing. Just the little things that make such a difference, isn't it? Okie dokie. I hope you're following along so far. We'll definitely go back over anything that you have questions about, but we're going to keep moving. So the next example that I want to show you is how to add the materials directly in. This is my favorite nerdy thing about the whole extension because I am very pedantic about the materials and finishes that I bring into my models, and I used to spend so much time screenshotting them and resizing them and pulling them into my bucket and pulling, you know the drill. Now you don't have to. So again, I'm going to hit the 3 dots on this stone slab that I had just specified. I'm going to do add to materials panel, which that first one already looks beautiful. But if you have other options, I can scroll through like so, see which is the best option. You'll notice here too, it says pick a color. So in that instance, maybe not so much for a stone slab, but say a laminate or a paint color. If you had an image that was in situ with, say, a kitchen image, and you wanted just the color of the cabinets in that image, that's what this color picker is for. So I could use my color picker and choose this gray from within the image as well, and then use that as a paint color so it's all matched up. In this case, I'm just going to add the stone slab. So we're going to do select swatch, add to SketchUp materials. Yes. Then it'll give you this green check mark, and I'm going to hit find. So when I do that, it automatically pulled up my materials panel and has given me my bucket. So now I can go in and edit my stone. So again, like that alone saves hours if you had multiple of them. Voila. Now again, you can always edit it, scale it if you need, etc. I'm not going to get into that now, but you can still edit it from within SketchUp. Oh my gosh, the back and forth. So that is materials. Now, lastly, what I wanted to show you is, say, I already had a faucet in here. So I change this out. Oh my gosh. Guys, designing on the fly with hundreds of other designers watching you, that's a new, different kind of stress. We're gonna leave it like that, but basically the point I want to get across is to show you what the find product looks like. So when I hit find in model, it'll bring me right there. So again, as I mentioned in the beginning, if you had a huge model and you're trying to find, you're not scrolling through and like searching through all the different rooms trying to find the product, it'll bring you right there in 2 seconds. Now, the last bit that I want to show you that I actually just found out recently that blew my mind is you can make, SketchUp has recently released a tool where you can generate 3D models from an image and then pull them into your 3D model. So that's a lot of words, but I'm going to show you how it actually works. So I'm going to use my bar stool here as an example, because as you can see, I've already added a couple into my model, but that's not the exact bar stool. So if I wanted to get really particular with it, what you can do is now go on to a product site. So I'm on Lulu in Georgia here. What I'm going to do is save this image to my desktop, like so. And then we're going to go into the 3D warehouse. So instead of the extension manager, we're going to go into the 3D warehouse. Now I cheated a little bit and I did this earlier because it does take about 5 minutes to generate. So I don't want you guys to sit here watching it load, but I'll walk you through how to do it. So as you can see, you can search for content. So I'm in the 3D warehouse. I could search up bar stool or counter stool, whatever I'm looking for. Now it's prompting me, so I can say, have an image, find it in the model. Now I do have to minimize because I'm going to drag and drop my picture. Because earlier, bear with me. Okay, so I dragged and dropped my image from my desktop into here. So what it does first is searches the 3D warehouse for any similar counter stools. So again, it pulled up options that look phenomenal and could pass for the item that I wanted to use, which I already did, right? What you can do now is if you want that particular image, you can actually 3D generate the exact product. So it's really up-leveling your models because there's no more messing around with components and trying to build them from scratch to make it look almost identical to what you've actually specified. SketchUp does it for you. So we're going to hit generate 3D model. Oh, I already did a couple today, so that's what you would hit. I'm just going to go back and show you what happens. Okay, so once you hit generate 3D model, it'll give you the items that you've created. So now I can download this directly into my kitchen. Voila. So look how realistic that is. It's pretty insane. Like, even if it takes you 5 minutes to actually load it up, that's incredible. Like, I I'm ready to take on another design project. Maybe not really, but it's so fun. So again, like I said, it really up levels your models. Now there is another trick I can show you, because that's being generated within SketchUp, but the model still exists, right? So I can go back into my product library. This is the same bar stool that I added in earlier, but now what I'm going to do is upload the SketchUp model of that counter stool. So the next time I want to use that same stool in a model, I'll already have the 3D version of it attached. So if I reopen my Programa, so then I'm going to hit refresh. And you can see here, now I have the same counter stool. It has my model attached to it, and I can easily pull it back in. Cool, right? All right, let me just double check. Okay, that's essentially everything in regard to the product library to SketchUp Sync. Now, what we're going to move into is I'm going to give you a sneak peek of this same tool, but it connecting directly to your schedules. So as we know, we're typically specifying for a specific project, you already have everything in your schedule. So I personally use my SketchUp model in tandem with my Programa schedule. So I'm doing them at the same time. It's not necessarily different phases of the project, which is why we created this tool in the first place. So in that sense, it's going to, like I said, directly connect from the Programa schedule into SketchUp and vice versa. So this is just a prototype to preface. So it doesn't have all of the bells and whistles that the actual extension will possess, but it'll give you kind of a basic idea of where we're going with this. On top of that, we are working in relationship with SketchUp to be able to build that 3D generation tool of the product models into our extension as well. So you won't have to do that kind of workaround situation. Although, again, like I said, that took me maybe 5 minutes to do. But moving forward, that's our goal, is to have that all directly right in that extension. Okay. So first, I'm going to show you what it looks like when you're syncing products from SketchUp into Programa. So this would be, say I'm modeling, I'm adding in different furniture pieces, I'm adding in different lighting, materials, etc. I haven't actually specified that yet. What you can do is it will ask you, so these are the new items that the extension has found in your SketchUp model that do not exist within Programa. So if I've specified, say, this lamp in my model, I can then give me the option to add it to a specific Programa schedule. So similar to how our web clipper works, that when you download a product, it'll ask you what schedule and what section to populate it in. Works the exact same way. So I'm going to do furniture, lighting. You can also edit the details. So if there is kind of a strange product name on there, it's just labeled as components, you can edit the product details within SketchUp, which then will reflect back in Programa. So you kind of change all of the information on the product before it goes back into Programa, so that you don't have to double do that work as well. You're just doing it in one foul swoop. So you can edit all of the details and then save that. It'll say product details save, and then you can sync that directly into Programa. So it'll say product synced. and it'll take you back into Programa where now my floor lamp exists. Now, the other way around is syncing from Programa into SketchUp. So you'll notice here, it works the exact same way, but just in reverse. So you'll notice it'll say again, new products or changes. So changes means you've already synced a product from Programa into your SketchUp model. It will flag if anything has changed in Programa that you need to update in your SketchUp, which is again, massive game changer because you're not just having to remember what you've updated, what materials need to be changed. It'll tell you, it'll flag it for you. Again, new products are if you've specified something, it's going to ask you if you want to add that into your model. So say this is a new sofa, this is what I've specified. I can choose, either search the 3D warehouse or add it to materials panel. You can choose. So obviously a sofa, I'm going to search the warehouse. A material, I can add directly to that materials panel like I showed you earlier. So it's going to search the warehouse for that exact model, and then we can populate it and drop it right in. So 3 clicks, and you've found the exact product that you specified in the 3D warehouse, and it's already in my model. Incredible. Then you'll notice that it automatically updates. So now I only have 2 new products and 3 changes. And I just realized that I went through that quite quickly. So we have tons of time for questions, and I can absolutely go back through anything in regards to the product library or the prototype that I just showed you. So if you have any questions, I'm just going to invite Claire onto the stage now, and then we can walk through a bunch of things together.
Hello.
Hi, Claire.
Hi. Okay, so I'm gonna give people a second to start submitting some questions, but in the meantime, towards like the middle of your presentation, you showed the action button, and I sent you a screenshot through, but your head was blocking it. Can you show us again what was behind your head?
Yes, in Programa product action button.
Yeah, you had the side panel up, and you were bringing in a material for, I think you were bringing in a slab.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll just change the speaker view.
Thank you.
Okay. In the materials panel here?
Yes.
Okay. So let's do this again. So we're going to do, actually, you know what? I already added it in, so we'll do a new one. So we're going to hit the 3 dots on the material that you want to add into SketchUp. Then it'll give you the prompt to add to materials panel. So from here, you can either click through if there's multiple photo options. You can pick a color directly from within the image itself if you just want a flat static image, or you can choose your original. You're going to hit select swatch, hit add, and then it'll say material added, and then we're going to hit find, which will take you right into your materials panel, which gives me my bucket, and then I can change the materials directly.
Perfect. One question from Jessica while we're in this materials panel.
Yeah.
She created a material from Programa, and she used that material, and then she left the page. What's the easiest way for her to get back to that material?
the material in SketchUp?
Yes, that she added from Programa.
Okay. So if you open up if I close out my materials panel, if you open up your bucket, in the drop down, it'll be colors and model.
There we
and
go.
it should be the last one that you've added, or it will definitely be in this list.
Perfect. Great. Okay. And then do you mind just running through the workflow again of the AI generation and kind of how you got there?
Yes, of course. So first you would start on a product site. Let's do another furniture piece. So you want to find your product online first, or whichever image you have of it. So I'm going to choose this sofa. You're going to save the image. So save that to your desktop. Now I'm going to go back into SketchUp here. And what you need to do is search that image in the 3D warehouse. So I'm going to open up 3D warehouse from within SketchUp. If you're on the home page, it'll look like this, and it'll give you this search bar. So you can search. My computer likes it better when I drag and drop, but you can search. If you're a Mac user, you can drag and drop, or you can find it in the Finder. So I'm going to choose my sofa. Drag that over. So now I'm still in SketchUp and I'm in the 3D warehouse. So what it's doing right now, apply. There we go. So it's going to search the 3D warehouse for an image that looks similar to the sofa that I just added in. So I can either download one that looks similar and then edit it, or you can hit generate 3D model, which mine's not going to let me because I already did a bunch today. But if you hit generate 3D model, and then it will take you back to in my own warehouse, my 3D warehouse. It'll be my uploads. And these are where your AI models will live. So if you're already in the 3D warehouse and you're in SketchUp, then you can download the product directly into your model. That way.
Amazing.
Cool.
Wonderful. What is the best way to bring in a paint swatch? Can you show us bringing in a paint color?
For sure. So I'm going to go open up my Programa again. So you can search your 3D warehouse for paint if you've categorized it. So let's do one that's a bit awkward. So this red color, because I want to show you how to use the paint dropper. So if we do add to materials panel, or even look, this is kind of an in situ photo, so I could use a paint dropper from there. Or I'll use this swatch, for example. I obviously don't want to create that circle as a material because then it's going to put circles all over my model. So I just want that burgundy color. I'm going to use the paint dropper. Now I have an exact paint color of that swatch. And I'll add that directly into my materials. I don't know if I'll point this out again. If you can't find it, it says material added and you can hit find. So that pulls up my materials panel automatically, which it'll be the last material. So then I can go and paint with the new color.
Amazing. Okay. Actually, we have this question twice. So when you're searching in that little bar, we see we have a search engine. You also
Yeah.
have some filter options. Can
Yep.
you quickly just show us how you categorize products in your product library so that we can easily find them when we're in SketchUp?
Yes, of course. So there's a couple ways to do it. You can bulk categorize items. Or you can do it one by one. So if I click onto this light, it'll bring up my details tray. You scroll down, you have product category, and it'll give you a bunch of categories. Now I'll point out, if you hit this arrow, there's tons of categories. So you can get really particular with it. So I can categorize this as a pendant light, ceiling light, whatever. Now, if you want to do them in bulk, let's say I'll select, actually let's do stone. So I'll select a bunch of my samples. When I'm hovering over the product, there's a circle button. So I'm just selecting those. And then you'll notice here at the bottom, it says assign category. Then I'm going to do finishes, surfaces, natural stone. But there's a bunch of other stones on here. So that's how you do them in bulk.
Perfect. Wonderful. And then let's see what else. We had a couple people throughout asking about scale of products and what scale your products come in to SketchUp as.
Mm-hmm. The materials are 500 by 500 in millimeters, but you can edit it if you want to. The products themselves, it really depends on the, gosh, what's the word? Not the components.
I believe it's a 1-to-1 ratio.
For product?
I believe so.
I was just thinking about the,
the like actual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The size of it.
Math.
It depends. It really depends. It's not directly defined from within Programa. It's dependent on the size of the SketchUp model that you're downloading, or it is dependent on the size from the supplier website.
Got it. Okay. And then I just want to point out really quickly, Raquel was asking about Shireen, sorry, was asking about, maybe I have the wrong person completely. Raquel was asking about how they identify the products that are coming in from their library. And I just wanted to show really quickly that in that side panel, you can see Lexi's products and the names of the products and brand of this or supplier is listed on the actual product itself to make it easier to find that product as well.
Yes, it is. Yep. You can search by brand, by product name, or category in there. Or again, use your filters.
Yes. Great. Okay.
They also filter in from latest added. So if you are working in a schedule and you're modeling at the same time and you add products to the library, like I did with the kitchen example where I'm adding products in, those will be the first ones that you'll see.
Yes. And then just really quick, can you clarify again the product library that we have now versus schedules later?
Yes. So in Programa, you have your specific projects, right? And then underneath your libraries, this product library. So product library is what I typically say is your frequently specified library. So this is products that you can use amongst all of your projects. So it's a database of items that you have specified before. So you build out your own product library as a studio. So you get to pick and choose what goes into here. Now, the difference being, moving forward in that prototype that I showed you, you'll be able to pull products in directly from a Programa schedule. So it's more project specific. So say I'm working on my New York project here, I can update, say, this floor tile. If I already had pulled this material into my 3D model and I edit it in my Programa schedule, that's where that link comes into play. So that when I go to double check it in SketchUp, it'll say, hey, this is a new product or a changed product. Do you want to update it in your model? And you can say yes or no.
Perfect.
Does that define it?
Yeah. Okay. I think so. And just to like clarify further, currently you can add products directly from your library through the SketchUp, but not your schedule. That is coming soon.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And then also just a note from Zoe on the whole sizing debacle.
Thank you, Zoe.
For product components, they're being brought in as they've been built. So the Kohler sink coming from Kohler's website will be the correct size.
Yes. Sorry. Yes, of course. I was thinking from that question, I was thinking of the actual like megabytes of the product, not the sizing of the product. Zoe's correct in the sense that it would be the width and height of the product itself. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Any other questions? Give a couple more seconds.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things. If you're familiar with Programa and you're familiar with SketchUp, you'll pick it up in 2 seconds. It's just a matter of understanding that for now, just add all of the products that you need in your SketchUp model into your product library, build this out, clean it up, have this ready to go when you want to start modeling, and then that's going to save you a ton of time moving forward. So even like I said before, if you already have a couple projects on the go, you have a bunch of stuff in your schedules, add them into your library. Start creating 3D models of all of like sinks, faucets, toilets, or I guess it's more so for custom products, but things that you would model with all the time, build up that product library. Like if you spend the time and you can start syncing the 3D models to the products in your library, that's going to save you so much time. So you're not sourcing and searching within that 3D warehouse anymore.
Great. Claire asked if they need to upgrade their current Programa subscription in order to use this new tool.
No, absolutely not. It's all included.
Yes.
You do have to have a SketchUp subscription, though. They're two separate.
Yes. Okay. I think that's it. Thank you so much, Lexi.
All right, fabulous. Thank you so much, everybody. If you do have any further questions, feel free to reach out to us on our live chat anytime. And Claire and I are also happy to hop on a call with you if you need any further training. Alrighty. Have a great rest of your day, whether that's the end of your evening or starting your day. Thanks again. Bye.